Are you looking for a smart outlet that won't break the bank? Do you want a smart outlet that won't block the other plug on the wall outlet? Stay tuned and I'm going to show you an option. Welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter, your home for all things relating to smart home technology. In this episode, we will talk about how to implement the Teckin SP10 smart outlet in your home. Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and we're going to be working on this together. This content is also available as an Amazon flash briefing or podcast. Please go to techbiteswithronnutter.com for more information. For any items mentioned in this episode, there are affiliate links in the description. If you click on these links, I will get a small commission, but that won't affect the price you pay for the item. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on subscribe and enable notifications. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. Now, full disclosure, the folks at Teckin did send the SP10 to me to look at for a possible video. I'm not being compensated by them. They are not reviewing the video prior to it going up, and what you hear me saying are my own views and not what I've been asked to say by Teckin. Now, having said that, here's what we're going to be doing. We'll first go over an unboxing because this is an interesting little package. Then we'll go through downloading the app, and we'll do a configuration of SP10 and possibly an idea of some of the other features you can see in the app. Now, I'm sure you're going to say, well, Ron, there's lots of smart outlets out there. And you know what? You're right. What we're going to be doing is looking at this one that was sent to me by the folks at Teckin, because it's got some interesting little features that I think you will be interested to look at. And it's a very reasonably priced item, and one that I think you're going to be very interested in taking a look at. So let's go ahead and move over to our demo cam and we'll get started. Now, this is the box it actually came to me in, and I thought, well, this is interesting. I thought it overpacked, and I saw that it had the two different plugs in it. So that's always a bonus. And anymore, it almost pays you to go ahead and get two of something because it's going to cost the same for two as it will for one, or within a few dollars. So there's two plugs and packaged very well. It's got an interesting little manual, and they make it very easy to get up and running. So we're going to do exactly that. We'll come over here with my smartphone and we'll turn this upside down. You'll notice there's a little QR code right there, and more devices are starting to use this one. So we'll come over here and we will let it grab that. Take just a second. Yes, we're going to go to the web page. I mean, this beats searching the App Store, that's for sure. And we'll say download. And it's downloading the file right now. And we'll tell it to open. Yes, we want to install. As you are installing your latest smart home device, grab a copy of my Smarthome Checklist. This will help you record information about each device as you set it up. This will prove helpful when you need to find out where to get the firmware updates from or support on that device. You will be subscribed to my email list in exchange for the checklist. I won't share, rent, or sell your information to anyone. And while it's installing, take a look at what's going on. A little bit easier than you would have before. And this takes a little bit of time to get installed. Nothing major, and it's certainly something that shouldn't take too long as a general rule. It's nice that they do put a QR code on the back of the device. So in case you're like me and, you know, who keeps the manuals? Actually, I'm working on a system now to make that a little bit easier. Because and sometimes if you can't get to the website online for some reason, at least you can see a copy of it to work from. And I am trying to also build into this new system that I'm working on to have an electronic copy just in case. Okay, so as you can see, it's finished. Click agree like we have a choice. We will go ahead and click sign up. Yes, agree. And then we'll go through the process here of creating the account. Okay, had to fall back and regroup there for just a moment because I hadn't written down the password when I initially did some of the setup work on this one. So yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Lesson learned. I had to reset the password. Now we can go on. Gotten into the screen now. You do have to log in mostly for the fact that when you start doing the Alexa and Google Home integrations. So we'll click on add a device. We are doing the Wi-Fi socket. I'll let Smart Life access the device location only while I'm using the app, and that's kind of my general rule. We're going to have to make a minor change here, and that's because I normally keep my phone on 5 gigahertz. So I'm going to switch over to the 2.4 SSID so that it should be able to find it, and it'll take it just a second here to, and you can't see this because for some reason when I'm in the setup screen, it decides not to let you see anything. We will enter the password here. Next. All right, so now what it's going to go do is we are going to go ahead and plug the outlet in because it assumes, actually, okay, it won't let us back up. All right, so we'll plug in the device. Right now, what you're going to see is I've actually got it set in here and it's actually blinking. The reset button is already blinking, so we're actually kind of a step ahead in that game. Blinking 3 or 4 times a second. Okay, it is. It's rapidly blinking. And this is just coming up from a factory default, so that's good. And it should be finding the device here shortly. Okay, it says adding the device and registered in the cloud. Okay, it's on there. So, okay, well, you can't get much better than that. We will actually rename this one because I'm going to be working with both of them here at some point. If I can spell here, I'll call this Teckin 1. I may find out once I implement the voice option that it may not like it. But anyway, okay, so that's done. All right, so that's happy. And okay, I just heard it click, so that's good. And then we'll tap it again. Then we'll look over here real quick while it's, yeah, and that's, okay, in that screen, it's off because the indicator light on the side is, and we'll take it, and okay, that's the on condition. All right, well, that's really, you can't complain about that one too much. Now, the other things we'll be looking at in future videos. Oh, and by the way, before you get too far down the rabbit hole on this one, if you've got a labeling machine of some type, hopefully one that does the nice little stickers that you can, or adhesive back, or you've got one of the older Dymo type machines, make sure that you label the device with its name that you've got it in the software, because that's something that will save you some grief trying to figure out what device it is later on when you start making other changes to it. And then you may want to go through and on your DHCP router, change its name there, so that will help you as well. You got it's a double backup, but it's one that hopefully should make you a little bit of less grief when you do have to do something else. So let's go ahead here and we'll go in. We tap on the Me icon in the lower right hand corner. We go into Home Management. Now these are all things we'll get into a little bit later. We'll tap on My Home. You can put it into different locations. And if we say join a home, then if we get into more services, this is where you'll be able to tie it in to both Alexa and Google Assistant and IFTTT. And I will see if what I can do with SmartThings. My SmartThings hub is a little long in the tooth, so I think it actually got de-supported because I just wasn't using that much. But we'll take a look at it from there, and then I'll look at explore the other options of Tessent and DuraOS and Ding Dong. That's a heck of a name there for the service, but I'm sure they had a good reason for it. So this is something that just gives you an idea of the type of expandability. And then you've also, we've got, if it's a camera, there's cloud storage, there's phone notifications. All these things we'll start to look at as we get down the road a little bit. Now, what you can do, and I don't want to exit Smart Life at this point. I've tapped on the back one too many times. There are options, and we'll get into this a little bit more, to where you can add some functionality. Now, the biggest one I can think of is in the home automation, and there's where if we clip on the little plus button up there, we can go, when weather changes. Now, I don't know this device's location changing, but you can certainly schedule things to where, hey, you come on and off at different times. So you can see there's quite a bit of functionality. Oh, and you can say when the device status changes, switch. Interesting. Okay, so you can have it sense. So if you manually did something that it would be able to record it. So overall, you can see this is an interesting little piece of technology. This is something that I think once I've got some more runtime under my belt, and there are some other uses I'm looking at it for. There was a series that I just kind of finished the design on last night, where these handy little plugs will give me an interesting way to control some smaller computers that I'm wanting to look at for automation. Now, something to keep in mind, and this is not a criticism of the product. If you look here on the back, and let me hit the button one more time, always be noting when you put a new device like this in, and you'll see on the back it says 120 volt AC. Okay, that's fine, but 10 amp. That is something that you want to be careful of with any device like this, and that's so that you don't overload it. So if you have something that's, say, pulling more than, I would say probably 8 or 9 amps, I have a tendency to be a little conservative in that respect, because you don't want to overload the device. And as this Teckin SP10 gets a little bit older, as all devices like this will, its ability to handle the higher amperage levels may be reduced a little bit, because things do wear out a little bit over time. So this is something to always be aware of what you're plugging into it. And if it's something that has a high amperage startup, for example, I would not plug a refrigerator into this. It's only rated at 10 amps, and some fridges can pull quite a bit of power when they start up. So anything you're going to plug in, especially if it's more than like a light bulb or a home stereo system, always look at the startup power it requires versus the running power, because a startup power surge is going to be one thing, but you will want to make sure you don't overload the device, because in the end, you want to have a good experience with all this. So this is why I'm expressing the caution at this point, and this is true for any device. So you've seen an idea of what this has got the capability of doing. Obviously, I'm going to be doing some more videos on this one, because I'm going to get into some of the nuances with showing this with both bulbs and non-bulb situations, because we'll see how well it's going to handle it and see if it's going to be able to do any dimming. That's something I have not looked at yet, so that's just going to be a case of figuring out what's going to work and see what's really is going to have the most room to give you flexibility of where you can use it in your smart home. If you're watching this on YouTube, and you probably are at this point, you're going to see some videos on the screen that are similar to the one you're watching right now, or other content that YouTube thinks you might be interested in. If this video helps you or provides value, please click on that like button, thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please click on that subscribe button now and enable notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.